Boom! What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Happy Saturday to you all, and welcome to another live beer review. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a new... I think I've had maybe a beer from these guys when it comes to maybe like a collab or something like that, but I don't think I've ever had like a specific beer that was strictly made by these guys, and I'm pretty damn excited. Fifth Frame out of Rochester, New York, has kind of gotten a really good name for themselves across like the state of New York when it comes to being like one of the top rated breweries up there. I can say there's definitely a lot of popularity with them, of course, for their fruited sours, of course their IPAs and all that stuff. And today we're gonna be looking at one of their fruited sours from, I guess you could say it's one of their like fruited sour lines, called the Bath Bomb, which is just like a heavily fruited sour that I would put probably in the realm of like stuff you get from Drecker when it comes to the Brain series, maybe stuff from RAR, 450 North, just that those kind of beers that have heavy amounts of fruit puree in them. And to me, those are some of the best kind of styles of beer that I really enjoy as of late, because if it's done right, it's creamy, it's fruity, it doesn't even taste like a beer. So I would consider a fruited sour a great introductory style into craft beer, maybe into the sour kind of beer itself, because there's so many different ways to sour a beer, and kind of doing the whole just adding a lot of puree in it and using some other stuff to kind of get the natural tartness instead of using like the lactobacillus kind of method of making like a kettle sour is really cool. And I like just that it's becoming a really popular trend within the States, and I think it's just really cool that people are doing that. So today we're going to be looking at a specific variant from their Bath Bomb series, which is their Soursop coconut and guava Bath Bomb. It's a 6% ABV, so easily sessionable. And the cool thing is I don't think I've ever had anything with soursop in it before, to be honest. And from what I looked up, it's like flavor wise, it's like mixing a strawberry and an apple with a little bit of like tart citrusiness, and then has like texture of bananas. So that sounds pretty damn fantastic. I love when people use like tropical fruits that aren't native to the States, just because it's like some of those stuff would be grown in like South America, or like using Caribbean fruits and all that kind of stuff. I think is just a really cool kind of new way to bring flavors to the States that we usually don't be able to experience. So knowing that there's soursop in this one, of course, and I think there's coconut and guava as well. So the guava is going to give it a nice little tartness, maybe give it like a little bit of funk. Coconut's going to definitely add like that coconut flavor in there that gives it that tropical kind of feel. But I'm curious. I'm really curious of what kind of flavor the soursop's going to bring. If they used enough of it to kind of make it a predominant flavor, I don't know. But yeah, I'm super stoked. And of course, there's a couple recommendations I would like to give when it comes to drinking this kind of style of beer, just every time I do a review this kind of style, just because it helps bring in a better experience overall when you buy a beer like this, if it's going to be your first time buying it. So if you're buying this at a liquor store or bottle shop, it's most likely going to be in a cooler already. Most of the time, whenever you go to a liquor store or bottle shop, a lot of the beers will be in like refrigerated units already, so you can pull it out of there, bring it home, and then what I recommend is after you bring it home, put it directly back in the fridge. Do not keep it unrefrigerated for any time, because there's heavily amounts of fruit puree in there to where that fruit can still possibly ferment inside of the can, and of course build up CO2 inside the can, and that's what sometimes you see when you crack open one of the cans that's been a little bit of like pressure is built up into it. That's when you see stuff start foaming over and just start creating a mess. So hopefully this one doesn't do it for me. I've had it in the fridge for a decent amount of time. And then second of all, when you're drinking this kind of style of beer, after you take it out of the fridge, when you're getting ready to drink it, give it a couple light rolls on the countertop just to get everything mixed in properly. You want a nice even pour throughout this entire glass, and when you're pouring it into the glass, you want it to be even. You don't want any kind of separation things going on right there. So, and then last of all, what I like to do is when I'm bringing it to where I'm going to be drinking it, so let's say I pull out of the fridge, give it a couple rolls on the countertop in the kitchen, and then I like bringing it to my room like this, upside down, so all the stuff that was sitting at the bottom starts getting suspended fully through, so you can have a very nice even pour when you decide to open this guy up. So I am really excited. Of course, I've kind of gotten the hype around these guys when it comes to Mr. Duchess and Logan talking to me about how Fifth Frame is probably their best when it comes to like fruited sours in their area within the state of New York. So knowing that I got my hands on one of them and be able to try it, I can see what it's all about, and maybe if I can put them in the realm of being up there when it comes to like the elite fruited sour breweries, when it comes to Drecker, RAR, 450 North, let's see, 903 I would put there up there as an elite brewery like that. So is Fifth Frame going to be able to kind of be put on that pedestal as well? Well, we're about to find out. So I'm always weary when it comes to opening like heavily fruited sours, just because you never know. So I put a towel down on the ground just so if I open this and anything decides to foam over, it's not going to get on my carpet. So let's crack this thing open and see what we get on the nose with this guy. Okay, no foam over, which is good. So let's see what this thing's like on the nose. Well, a little bit of something. Let's see if we can pour it to make sure nothing happens. I'm not going to be able to. Okay, I was just being precautious. Heavily thick. I didn't want any kind of foam over to happen, so I'm just pouring it right into the glass, and then we'll kind of give our notes on there. Just pouring a little bit into the glass. Let it kind of settle down a little bit. So let's smell it in here. After I poured a little, there's definitely a good amount of carbonation in there right now, as you can see. Hoping it doesn't build up anymore, but you can see a nice kind of almost like tannish kind of color to it. Almost looks red in person, kind of like a pinkish kind of color. I'm thinking that's gonna be from the guava, but on the nose, in the can, definitely getting some like tart tropical fruit notes coming through. Not really much coconut, to be honest. The guava is definitely predominant, and there's like definitely another kind of note that I'm getting that isn't quite just straight guava. There's like a little bit of a citrusy note. So I'm thinking that's that soursop, which actually smells pretty damn delicious. So I'm gonna be careful with this one. Pour a little bit more. It's definitely gonna be foamy, but I'm just lightly pouring it, just so we don't have a mess on our hands. Which I think we're in the safe zone right now, but you never know. You never know with these kind of style of beers. So let's try this guy and see what this thing's all about. So of course you see a good little bubbly goodness right there, which usually happens with something that's really heavily fruited. If I can get a couple of those pops so I don't have it all over my mustache, which is most likely going to happen. I'm gonna be completely honest here. Get some of these bubbles down a little bit. Get kind of my mustache ready for this initial drink, but let's give this guy a try and see what it's all about. So cheers, everybody. Happy Saturday. Oh, yeah. That is pretty damn delicious, if you say so. Yeah. Very tropical. That's very interesting. I'm going to be completely honest here. I'm not getting a lot of the guava when it comes to the palate. I got a lot of it on the nose. But I think that flavor I'm distinctly getting is that soursop, which I think is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. There's a tropical kind of citrusiness to it. It's sweet. It's not really tart. I think there's like the slight tartness is going to be from that guava in there. But overall, the flavors in this one are tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. When it comes just very bright tropical fruit feels. Yeah, it's beer foam on the mustache is like Thanos, inevitable. Yeah, I just try to kind of just delay as much as I can, kind of get it out of the way so it's not just sitting on the mustache. But yeah, this is outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Very just, it's not too tart. It's not too sweet. Very bright and fruity. So if you're looking for a nice kind of heavily fruited sour, Fifth Frame is definitely one to kind of put on my list now as ones to keep an eye out for, because with this being my first experience with a fruited sour from Fifth Frame, yeah, outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Very thick and heavily fruited. I would say it's a little bit almost thicker than the stuff I would see from like the Brains a little bit. Maybe just slightly thicker. But yeah, that soursop flavor you get from this is so unique. It's like, it's citrusy. There's little apple hints to it. I'm not really getting like that kind of strawberry flavor that comes from a soursop, because if I didn't tell you guys, if you're just tuning in now, a soursop is kind of like a mixture between a strawberry and an apple with a citrusiness in it, and then has like a texture of a banana, which I guess when you add a banana to a beer, it's definitely going to add like almost, I don't want to say mealy kind of texture to it, but there's definitely a banana mouthfeel that if you ever had a banana before, you know what I'm talking about. It's almost, it's not mealy, but it's like a mushy kind of thing going on, but you're not really getting the mushiness out of this. You're not really getting the actual like either like chunky or mealy kind of thing from it, but there's definitely, it adds to the creaminess of the overall beer experience when you're drinking it. It's pretty damn delicious. I'm a really big fan. I'm going to pour a little bit more in here and try not to make a mess. This is definitely going to be a slow pour. Just because all the stuff coming out at the end now is just thick fruit puree goodness. But yeah, this is absolutely delicious. I'm a really, really big fan. Just look how, like, you guys can see how thick this beer is. You can see the stuff going through there. So this stuff is heavily, heavily fruited. So let's look over here at Untappd, and let's see if you can't get your hands on this one from Fifth Frame, because I know when it comes to a lot of New York breweries, they're not really big when it there's distribution outside of the state. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of how New York is, they stick to local breweries available in the state of New York, and I know there's a couple of them that do get distribution outside the state. I know you got Southern Tier, I think, is out of New York. Of course, Fifth Frame, Evil Twin, I think, is out of like New York City. KCBC. So there's definitely breweries out there to be able to get their stuff distributed out of the state. But when it comes to being sold in the state of New York, it's a lot of the times where they really like supporting local breweries and like making New York State beers be that widely available stuff available in the state, which I can respect, but it also could be a pain in the ass, especially if you want to try different things from different breweries. It kind of make things difficult for you. So let's look here and see what Untappd shows on the similar beers list, so where we can figure out, if you can't get your hands on this one from Fifth Frame, what we may be able to suggest here. So let's see. So we got one here from Mortellus Brewing Company, which Mortellus is definitely on the list of the hierarchy when it comes to sours. And they collaborated with King's Brewery for this Frosé Hydra, which, let's see, it's passion fruit, raspberry, mango, vanilla, and marshmallow and coconut. So you may get similar flavors to this Frosé Hydra. Of course, it's going to be getting those same tropical notes. You're going to maybe get that coconutty kind of note in there. The only thing that you're going to be missing that is going to bring in that citrusiness, along with those like strawberry and like apple kind of flavors that I'm getting, is the Soursop in there. But they replaced that with raspberry and mango to kind of bring in a little bit more citrusiness. The passion fruit's going to add a little bit of tartness. So I would say this one's going to be pretty damn close when it comes to flavors. I'm not going to suggest another Bath Bomb because they have one, which is the Bath Bomb Mango Pineapple Vanilla on the suggested beer list, which I'm not going to suggest this just because if you can't get your hands on the Bath Bomb I'm drinking, most likely won't be able to get the Bath Bomb that's on the suggested list. And then the last one we're going to look at here is one from a local brewery of mine that I would say is also on the hierarchy of those like smoothie, pastry, fruited sours, is Energy City. They're suggesting their strawberry and rhubarb crumble, which I'm not really going to do that when it comes to being similar, just because sure, maybe the Soursop may have little hints of like flavors that a strawberry would have, but when it comes to the rhubarb being the root and adding like brown sugar and almost trying to get that more pastry kind of flavor in there, yeah, that's nothing what you're going to be getting when it comes to drinking this beer. So I wouldn't even suggest that one, even though there are different beers that Energy City has come out with that are similar to this. I don't think this one on the recommended beer list is going to be similar. The closest thing on this similar beers list on here is probably going to be this Frosé Hydra from Mortellus. So if you can get your hands on that one, it's going to be the most similar. Of course, Energy City does make a lot of different, like from their Bistro series, which is their fruited sour line. So you may be able to get a good hands on that stuff if you see distribution out near you. Of course, I can always recommend stuff from Drecker. Make sure it's the Brains line, though. That's all I'm going to be recommending from that. Just if you want something that's just heavily fruit and not having any pastry, like desserty kind of notes in there, you're going to want to stick to the Brains line. And then, of course, 450 North out of Indiana does their Slushy XLs, which they do a lot of heavily fruited stuff. Sure, they have some other different variations when it comes to maybe having like a candy variant of their Slushy XLs, but they definitely do have just straight fruit. Like they have the Jungle Juice one and all that stuff, so that one's just mostly fruit and all that kind of stuff. So there's a bunch of breweries out there that are kind of doing this kind of style, so finding one that's similar to this is not going to be too difficult, I would say. I think the popularity of these heavily fruited sours are being quite out there enough to where you could probably find something like this in at least one place in every state, I would say. Or it can vary. It's going to be difficult depending if you're in a dry state or not. I don't know. Or it's just, you have to look. This is definitely one that you're going to have to kind of keep an eye out for and kind of look for the style specifically. But I don't think it's going to be too crazy difficult for people to get their hands on when it comes to just having something this fruited and that heavy, when it comes to having that creamy mouthfeel to it. So let's look over here at my friends list and see if there's anybody in my friends list to check this one in. It doesn't look like there is, which I'm surprised. I'm surprised Duchess and Logan haven't drank this one. Maybe if they just haven't gotten their hands on this one yet, because this one is outstanding in my head, at least. I'm actually going to take another swig right here, just get a little bit of bubbles down. Oh yeah, that's good. That is really good. So let's see here. Since there's nobody on my friends list to check this one in, there's no description on this one when it comes to searching it on Untappd. So let's just go over the percentage and all that, kind of what the ratings are. So it says here it's a 6% ABV, which it also says it on the can, which I would easily consider this a sessionable beer, just because anything below that kind of 7.5 like max of an ABV that I consider sessionable is always going to be something you can have more than one and most likely be okay. So having at least like 2 of these, you're going to be, if you drink these fast, because they're sweet enough and they're fruity enough to where these can go down pretty damn easy, that you could be feeling something. But if you're just casually drinking a 6%, yeah, you're going to be perfectly fine after like maybe 2 of them. So you wouldn't have to worry about that. And let's see, this one only has 135 ratings. And with that 135 ratings, this one has an average rating of 4.32 out of 5, which is pretty damn fantastic. It looks like this may have been like one of the smaller releases when it comes to their bath bombs, or maybe just haven't really gotten a lot of people checking it in yet, or people drank it and just didn't check it in on Untappd. There's so many different factors that could be playing in of why there's not many ratings on this one, but overall I think this one is absolutely delicious. And this is one of the ones that showed up on Tavour, so who knows, they may have done this one specifically for Tavour. I don't know. But let's look here and see what people are saying on the global ratings with this guy. So this guy purchased it up Tavour, which is how I got mine, and gave it a 4.25 out of 5. Let's see, we got a 4 out of 5, got it in a taster. Looks like he drank it at the Bar Operator, which is in Frankfort, Illinois. Oh, really? Okay, cool. Drank it in Illinois. Let's see, the next one here, we got a Tavour check-in, which said, personally, I find the can art on this series some of the best for this style. Enjoying the flavors. The coconut makes this super creamy and results in a huge head. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of head that comes out with this one, for sure. That could be just from all the fruit in there as well. I really do enjoy the bath bomb kind of can art, just because when it comes to just having like almost like a smoothie of colors, smoothie of flavors, having that kind of bath bomb foaming in a bathtub kind of situation where just like a bunch of colors mixing, I think is a really, really cool kind of idea to do with this kind of style. So I'm really impressed when it comes to the bath bomb can art as well. So I would definitely agree with that guy. Let's see what else here. We got a 4.5 out of 5. We got a 4.25. We got another 4.5. 4.5. This person gave it a 4 out of 5. Purchased it at the Capitol Highway Deli Mart, which is in Portland, Oregon. Let's see what else we got here. We got another purchase off Tavour. Give it a 4.5. Just did the emoji of his mind exploding. Let's see. We got a 3.25 saying thick, fizzy, creamy, crazy. So I don't know if that's a good thing or not. But let's do like 3 more. So we got a 4.5. Another check-in off Tavour. We got another 4.5 purchased from Tavour saying super creamy, delicious. And the last one we're going to look at here is a 4.25 out of 5. So yeah, overall, really good ratings on this one. I knew this was most likely going to be a pretty damn good beer after I opened the Untappd page for this one and saw that there were a lot of pretty damn good check-ins with this one. So overall, yeah, absolutely delicious fruited sour from Fifth Frame. I am really impressed. Of course, Duchess and Logan, you guys didn't let me down the wrong path with this one. This is absolutely delicious. Loaded with fruited flavors. And I definitely want to try some more beers with Soursop in them now, especially when it comes to fruited sours, because I think they could add some pretty fantastic flavors to your beer. So if you're anybody who's brewing and thinking of making a fruited sour and kind of running out of ideas of what fruits to use, look into some Soursop. I think it might be a good idea. But with all that being said here, let's start trying to figure out what we're going to be doing for ratings on our end with this guy. But before we do that, I'm on back on Untapped, and let's see if we can find some verified locations that are around the country that people may be able to go to, or maybe recognize if you're in that state, to where you could possibly get some stuff from Fifth Frame, or maybe this bath bomb in general is purchasable there. So we got a couple places in Oregon. We got one place in Bend, Oregon, which is the Bend South Liquor Store. We got a place in Redmond, Oregon, which is called the Beer Stop. Of course, you saw me mention the Capitol Highway Deli Mart in Portland. And then the one place that Duchess goes to where he likes to buy his beer is a verified location for this one, which is Premier Gourmet. So if you're near any of those places and want to possibly find some bath bombs, Soursop, coconut, guava, you can most likely find it at those places, or maybe some other bath bombs are available over there, or maybe some other beers from Fifth Frame in general. But let's look at, before we kind of start doing our final ratings on this guy, let's go over to Fifth Frame's website and let's see if any of these ones are on tap over there. So they got some IPAs, they got some Pilsners on tap, they got an English pub ale, hazy IPAs. Let's see. So they got a couple of the bath bombs available. So they got the Dragon Fruit Pomegranate Peach bath bomb available over there. They got the Pink Grapefruit Orange Lime, which just sounds like a citrus explosion. Okay, so they also do the Blizzies, which is their frozen dessert style sours, which is the Dizzy Blizzy, the Orange Blizzicle. Let's see. They have some pastry stouts available, some ciders, and maybe collaborating with a little bit of a winery thing going on there. But that's really cool. On the to-go list, let's see here. Okay, yeah. Let's see. What do they have available to go? So they have a bunch of bath bombs available. So they have the dragon fruit one that I listed already, the pink grapefruit one I listed. They got a watermelon blueberry blackberry bath bomb as well available to go, which sounds absolutely fantastic. So they have 3 bath bombs available along with some IPAs and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to do possibly a to-go pickup from Fifth Frame, you can do that as well right now. And they look like they have a pretty good list over there. But let's start trying to figure out what we're going to be doing for ratings over here on Arn with this guy. So, that foaming starting to get pretty close. Let's see if we can get that head to go down a little bit. And of course, first thing we're going to look at is can art. And you heard me mention it already. I think the can art for the bath bomb line is pretty genius when it comes to, if you think about it. It almost has the labels tearing. If you look in the corner, it's kind of whitewashed out, but it's like almost tearing over the barcode. It's like a bath bomb is just overtaking the label. I think it's really cool. The colors are vibrant. The only thing that my gripe is, depending on the colors, the bath bomb logo can kind of get lost in it, which that's really my only gripe when it comes to this label. I love the colors. I love the almost like outer space kind of bath bomb galaxy kind of look it gives off, or like you're looking into a microscope kind of situation. I just think that's really cool. Overall, yeah, can art is really, really nice. Would definitely something that would catch my attention at a liquor store or bottle shop if I saw it. So I would easily give this, I'm going to give it a 4.75 out of 5 for can art. The only thing that I wish was better is that maybe they did the bath bomb logo just a different color so it doesn't get lost in the rest of the colors and all that stuff going on. But let's see here. If I got this beer in a flight over at Fifth Frame, would I get another one? Absolutely, absolutely. I'm a huge, huge fan of this one. I think this is one of the first fruited sours I've had with Soursop in it, and now I want more fruited sours with Soursop in it just because I think the flavors from it are outstanding. And so I would definitely get one of these. And if I had in a flight, I would definitely get another one of these by itself. And I would try to see if I can get a 4-pack or 2 to bring home with it too, because I think it's that good. So let's see here. Last but not least, what is my final rating going to be on this guy? It's going to be tough. But let's see here. Still working on getting this head a little bit to go down a little bit. I think my final rating on this guy, I'm going to give it a very, very solid. I'm going to give it a very, very solid 9.25 out of 10. If you can get your hands on this one, do it. You're not going to be disappointed. It's crazy fruity, citrusy, has that nice kind of guava flavor in there, but it's not too guava-y. Creaminess from the coconut. Overall, everything about this just reminds me that I want to be sitting on a beach under an umbrella, listening to the ocean, drinking this. because that's how tropical and just absolutely fantastic this one is. So big shout out to Fifth Frame for coming out with this one. I definitely want to try some other ones from the Bath Bomb line. And of course, big shout outs to Tavor for picking up Fifth. I know they've had a couple of things from Fifth Frame, but continue bringing in those freaking Bath Bombs, Tavor. I wanted to get more of them in my hands, so it's cool to see that stuff coming to availability near me through Tavor, so that's really cool. But other than that, yeah, I think that's pretty much what I have for you guys today. So thank you everybody again for hanging out. You guys are awesome. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button. It would help me out a lot. Also, if you're new to the channel and like what you see, make sure to hit that subscribe button as well, along with that notification bell. It'll let you know whenever I go live to another review. I got a review planned for tomorrow for you guys, so keep an eye out for that. But of course, you could follow me on all my social media platforms to get kind of info of what's going to be reviewed and all that kind of stuff. You can shoot me a follow on Instagram where you'll see the hand checks of what I'm going to be reviewing the day of. Plus, shenanigans here or there when it comes to what I'm be doing over at Fibs, when it keeps the brewing, kegging, transferring beers to fermenters, and bright tanks, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to try to be a little more active when it comes to giving more updates of what we're doing over at Fibs. I know I've been lacking on it lately. But let's see, you could also shoot me a friend request on Untapped itself. You guys hear me talk about Untapped all the time. It's a fantastic platform. I like to call it Facebook for beer drinkers because that's pretty much what it is. You can check in beers, get badges, all the kind of stuff. It's just an absolutely fantastic platform that they've created over there. So if you're a craft beer fan, you haven't been on Untapped yet, you're heavily missing out. And if you haven't shot me a friend request yet, link to my profile is down in the description below as well. And last but not least, if you want to support me, I'm going to always recommend the best way to do so is getting yourself on my Patreon. That's going to be the best way you can support me and help me do what I do. Helps me get more money in my pockets to where I can get more beer and do more reviews for you guys. Plus, I can give back to you guys as well with the monthly 4-pack giveaways that I do over there. Plus, down the road, if the Patreon gets a little bit more like traffic heading towards it, I can get Discord started. Of course, I can start working on glassware, merch, coasters, koozies, all that kind of stuff. I have a bunch of things planned. A little bit more traffic towards the Patreon needs to be happening before I kind of get the ball moving on that kind of stuff. So if you want to support me, the best way to do that is head over to the Patreon, pick a tier, and who knows, you may be able to get the chance to win a free 4-pack from me at the end of this month, because at the end of this month we're going to be doing another giveaway. So of course, keep an eye on my Instagram to kind of get a sneak peek of what you can win if you join. Of course, the patrons are going to be the first ones to see what they're going to be able to win. But other than that, that is pretty much it again. So again, thank you everybody for hanging out today. You guys are awesome. Thank you everybody who's been watching the replay as well. You guys are amazing. And I'm going to end this like I always do before we get the hell out of here. If you're going to drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. And I'll see y'all next time. Cheers.